today we're gonna continue with the questions, and afterwards I'll do my one fab fashion for the day after the conversation. So today I'm gonna try to attempt to answer the question whereby one of you guys asked, why did I move to America? If you recall, at the last conversation we were talking about what I missed about living in Enugu, Nigeria, and we had a long conversation about that, and so that segued into the question, why did I leave Enugu? And so as you all know, I am divorced, and so I was married to an American astrophysicist and professor whom I met in Nigeria. Actually, I met him at my university. I was in my second year at the university, because I told you guys I got into university when I was 15 years old, into the parasitology and entomology program, and it was under the School of Medicine or the Department of Medicine. It was in the medical sciences, medical and biological sciences, if I recall correctly. It's been a while. And so I was in my second year at the university, so I was about 16 years old. And I was coming back from a play. I was taking part in a play that was organized by the University Theatre Association or something like that. Because I was into all that. I mean, since I couldn't go into that, I was interested in stuff like that. Modeling, fashion, theatre. So when I had time, I would join, individuals that would act plays for the university and stuff like that. So I was coming back, and the car stopped beside me, was asking for directions, and because my campus, you have the campus, and then you have the hostels or dormitories. Americans call it dormitories, and so they were all over the place. And so apparently he had a message or a letter from a friend of his to drop off at my university while he was going back to his university. And so he got lost, and I happened to be the one that he stopped, and I gave him directions. It wasn't clear. He wanted me to get into the car and show him. Now, when I tell my American friends about that, they'll be like, you got into a stranger's car. Well, back then, you get into people's car to show them whatever, or you can even get like at the university, some of my schoolmates, if they needed to go home, can actually go out of campus and stop by a car and hitch a ride back home or whatever. It wasn't a big deal then. It wasn't. There was nothing bad about it then. I mean, now of course you can't do such a thing. Everybody will be scared to do such a thing, but back then it wasn't a big deal. And so he was like, "Ooh la la, why don't you get into the car, please, and show me where the dormitory was?" And I knew where the dormitory was, so I was like, sure. So, as I was taking him to the dormitory, we were chatting and stuff like that. And after I showed him the dormitory, he was like, "Ooh la la, I insist, I'm gonna go ahead and drop you off at your dormitory." Because I told him I was on my way back to my dormitory, or hostel. We call it hostel. I was on my way back to my hostel. And so he insisted on dropping me back off at my hostel, and he was like, "Do you mind if I visit you?" And I said no. And he actually came. His university is about an hour and a half or something like that from my university, and he actually came twice, but I wasn't there. I think I had gotten to model or something like that. And so my roommate was like, "You've got to, make the effort to be here, since he's coming from somewhere that is so far away." And because his university was very far away. So she said, "Ooh la la, you've got to make sure that next time he comes, you're here." So of course, the next time he came, I made the effort to be there. I didn't take any modeling gigs or anything like that. And we went out for a drive and we chatted, and that was how I got to know him. Interestingly, I was quite a nerd when I was growing up in Nigeria. I was very skinny, And that's how I got my name, you know, my pet name, because they used to call me Cheese Stick. They said I look like a stick, you know, one stick, very skinny. And so, so I was a nerd and all into my studies, and you know, I'll act in plays or model when I had a little bit of time. And so yeah, that was how I met him. And then so we dated till I graduated from university. I did the accelerator 4-year program, so I finished, you know. In Nigeria, the educational system is different, you know. Like for instance, in Nigeria, if you're going to medical school, you go straight from high school. After you finish high school, you go to medical school and you do 6 years. In America, like for instance, if you want to go to medical school, you have to earn your bachelor's first of all, and then you take the entrance exam to enter medical school. But anyway, back to where I was. So I finished my specialization at the, you know, at the age of 19, and he proposed and we got married. We had a big traditional wedding because my dad is a chieftain, and you know, Nigerians, especially the Igbos, when they have parties, and so we had a traditional wedding, and actually, maybe it was a court wedding and the traditional wedding was later. And then he brought me to America, and you know, so I've been here since, and you know, I have the kids, and so yeah, so that is what brought me to America. And then another question that I was asked is this. Would I do it again? Come to America again? If I go back now, if I can go back to my younger me and say, ooh la la, would you come to America? So, that, actually, I am very adventurous in some ways, and in some ways I can be quite reserved or whatever. You know, my family loves to travel, and so when I was in high school, I actually traveled to Togo, traveled to Dahomey, and Ghana, part of the educational process. You know, I attended Federal Government College in Enugu, and they had this international programs where you could travel. But anyway, so yeah, no, I do not regret that. I think it was the right choice. I mean, now having said that, there were some cultural adjustments that I had to go through. You know, one of the things, I'm going to give one example. When I was living in Nigeria, and my ex-husband, because we met and then he went back to America, and then you know, we got married, then he went back to America, and then, you know, I finished and then flew and joined him in America. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is if if I was able to adapt, you know, if I was able to adapt easily to America. Well, I mean, there were some things that were difficult for me at first. So, for instance, the phone. So, when my ex-husband was in America, you know, before I flew out to join him, I would call him from Nigeria. I mean, I guess my dad took care of the phone bill, so I wasn't concerned about the phone bill. So, yeah, I was very naive, so don't judge me. I was a kid, okay? I was 18, 19. Anyway, so he would travel to America for vacation, and I was in Nigeria, and I'll call him, and you know, you'll be on the phone for an hour 30 minutes or something like that. So I had no idea that the phone bills were that high. Well, when I came to America, you know, I was feeling very homesick. I was the only one in America, and my ex-husband was a researcher, and sometimes he will be at the university for long. So I will call my family in Nigeria, and I recall at the end of the month he got the phone bill, and I think it was about $5,000. And he was a little bit salty about that. And I was like, oh my gosh, how dare you be mad? It's not even that much. You've got to understand that was over 2 decades ago, before the cell phone and WhatsApp, and you could call for free and all that. It was quite expensive calling home to Nigeria and other African countries, and of course if you stay on the phone for a long time, the phone bill adds up. But I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't stay here, I can't even call my family, and that is really being very cheap. Being very, very cheap, but I think now I sort of understand where he was coming from. But then, as a young 19-year-old, I thought that was very, very frugal with regards to the phone. Yeah, so that took a little bit of adjusting, and you guys know I can talk a lot. I can be very verbose. So when I would call my parents and stay on the phone for a long time, that added up the phone bill. And so it was difficult for me to restrain that, to stop calling them. And if you guys recall, when you come over initially, you can't, they have to process your green card. So for a period of time, you can't really work. I taught, dance, for fun, because I love to dance. I mean, I've forgotten a lot of the dance classes I took back home in Enugu, but I taught it at the university as a form of exercise for the young students. So that was the thing that kept me busy before I actually got my green card and I could work. And so yeah. So I mean, if you're not working and you read and you don't know anybody and you're homesick, you're gonna call home, and that added up the phone bill. So that was very interesting dynamics. So it took me a while to understand that I couldn't be calling Nigeria like that. And after I got used to that, I think I got very good at not calling as much, when I became aware of the dynamics of the phone bills and the phone calls and how much it cost and all that. You guys have got to give me credit, because I was not aware, I was not cognizant of the fact that it was so expensive when I was in Nigeria, and the phone bill was going straight to my dad and he was taking care of it. So yeah, so I married my ex-husband, and he brought me over to America, and that's why I came to America. And yeah, to answer the other question, no, I don't think I would have changed the fact that I came to America. I think I matured in America. I mean, I still have that ooh la la sense, which I don't think as an adult you have to lose sight of the child in you. I think it's important to still have that child in you and your happy place. I've matured a lot, and I'm not as naive as I was, and I can cook, some things in the microwave usually, and I think I'm a good driver. Well, my children still complain about my driving, but at least now I use cruise control. So when I'm driving to the university, I set it at 65, and so I don't speed. Yeah, it's an automatic car. So yeah, so I don't miss, so the long and short of it is that I don't miss coming to America, and I got married to an American professor, and that was what brought me to America. And so the next conversation with the Fashionista Professor, I'll go ahead and answer some more of the questions that you guys have for me. And you guys keep the questions coming. You can direct message me, DM me on Instagram or on my Facebook, or even comment down below and let me know, you know, if you have any questions about my background, my life story, my, you know, anything, you know, in Nigeria, and then upon coming to America, I'm gonna talk about, you know, the coming to America version, my version of coming to America, and how I adapted, and the processes of coming to America, my reality. So on that note, we are going to stop here, and we'll continue next Thursday. So as promised, we have to do the warm fab fashion for the day, and this is it. So music, hey! fini. So that was the Fashionista Professor way modeling of this fabulous, amazingly raw silk taffeta Victor Costa gown. So I've had this, I ordered this and a little while ago, but I haven't had the opportunity to wear it out. So it has just been languishing in one of my closets, and so today I decided to go ahead and wear it for the conversations with the Fashionista Professor. And somehow, even though it's spring, my hands are always cold, so hence the gloves. These are warmer than the satin gloves. Okay, so this, I love the silk taffeta. I love the ruffles. I love how it billows out. I love the belt, though I think I prefer the black belt. You guys let me know which one you prefer, because I modeled it with the black belt and then with this one as well. So you guys let me know which one you prefer. I love these ruffles at the bustier, and I love how fitted it is here, so you don't have to worry about a bra with it. I love how loose fitting. It almost reminds me of something that you wear in the 60s. Doesn't it remind you of that? So I love the pearl earrings that I styled with it, the solid sterling silver pearl earrings, and the crystal bracelets and the cultured pearl ring, the huge cultured pearl ring. And this is actually African Ethiopian willow opals and amethyst in sterling silver and platinum. And then of course I've got to have my tiara. So my diamond tiaras are at the jewelers and the bankers' vault. So I have to make do with a crystal tiara. So this is the look for today. Let me know what you think of the look, and let me know what you think of the conversations with the Fashionista Professor. If you have any comments, put them below. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button here or here, depending on where it may be on your screen. And please do turn on the notifications such that you'll be notified when next I upload another vlog, and when on Thursdays when I have conversations with Fashionista Professor. And so till next time, kisses from far away, kisses from far away, kisses from far away. Que